There's something unusual about the musical piece Ostinato Pianissimo, released in 1934 by composer Henry Cowell. Now, it's a very early piece for percussion, drums, gongs, bongos, but amongst the instruments is 8 different sized rice bowls. Now, this isn't a musical term you haven't heard about before, but is literally bowls for rice or cereal. So how did these end up in this classical work, and how have other household items found their way into musical performances? I'm willing to bet, as a kid, you may have played the spoons, making that clacking sound as you bang them against each other, or maybe made up your own instrument to the excitement or annoyance of your family. Because it turns out a lot of instruments started their life as common household items. Jug bands were a popular folk genre in America in the early 20th century, and that merged traditional with homemade instruments. These include the washboard, which is a traditional cleaning tool which is played like a percussive instrument, or the bones, literally made out of animal bones and played like the spoon, and the comb and tissue paper, which is a wind instrument, technically a singing membranophone, which is played by blowing across or singing into the tissue paper on the comb. And of course they featured the jug, played like a brass instrument, blowing across the top of a glass or stoneware jug. And you might have made that sound anytime you've blown across the top of a glass bottle. And the appeal of these instruments is that they're affordable, accessible and portable, and lower the barrier of entry for creativity, not needing traditional or expensive equipment. My favourite answer to this is a piece by renowned composer John Cage in his piece Child of Tree, and the instrument, amplified cactus. And Cage is no stranger to unusual musical works. One of his most famous pieces is 433, where a musician comes out, takes a seat and does nothing for 4 minutes and 33 seconds before leaving the stage. So if nothing but ambient sounds can be a musical piece, then surely can a cactus. And here's how it works. The musician puts a contact microphone on the cactus and plays it by gently running their hands along the spikes. And this isn't a rare piece. It's well known and played to this very day. And it's also inspired other uses of the amplified cactus. In a more recent piece, Degrees of Separation, Grandchild of Tree, the artist writes, taken from its natural environment and placed in the confined and groomed existence of a pot, amplified with a contact microphone, the cactus took on a completely new and interesting character. Vanessa Tomlinson from Griffith University has a long experience with experimental music and has a lot of experience creating new works for specific sounds, spaces and places. She also recognised the beautiful sound that rice bowls can make, but rather than playing them like a percussive instrument, in Spill she uses them as a kinetic sound sculpture.
In Spill, the falling rice becomes the sound source. I'm sure everyone has memories of the sound of rain on a tin roof, or a canvas tent, or through the trees. Much like the sound of rain on different surfaces, the sound of rice falling via a pendulum creates a hypnotic effect, a really slow groove, and the rice bowls placed underneath create little miniature melodies. And those rice bowls and rice link back to China, where I've spent a lot of my musical life investigating folk music and street music. Later in the piece, you hear the sound of wooden temple blocks, also from the same area of Sichuan province in China. I love that there are sonic memories hidden inside this piece that trigger my own nostalgia, similar to the sound of rain. And in case you're wondering, I do sweep up the rice and use it again.
In this piece, 20 kilos of rice falls out of a cone-shaped pendulum, making rhythmic sounds as it falls onto the rice bowls alongside temple bells and rice paper. In this piece, the sounds aren't made by the performer. Instead, they've been identified and created to create something unique. And it's this sound that captured the attention of artists and composers like Henry Cowell, who saw potential in more than just traditional instruments. And it builds on a tradition from Chinese and Indian artists who also recognized the opportunity for this sound. These alternatives open up new opportunities for new sounds and new pieces. This style of music is known as experimental music or post-instrumental practice, and it encourages both the artist and the audience to think about sound in a different way. So as you go about your day, listen to the sounds around you and the sounds that you make incidentally. Who knows, you might be making something beautiful.